All right, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Sharil from Modest Millennial, and on this channel we talk about all things money that they don't teach you in school. And I know you guys have been watching my videos for probably about 6 months at this point, and this is the first time we are actually going into a podcast mode. So I have my wife on the channel today. Her name is Wish, and I thought of bringing her on because from what I know, she's probably the most, not the most, but she's probably a pretty frugal person that I've ever met in my life. So I have her on, and we're going to be discussing about financial independence on this channel today. On this video today, specifically financial independence through frugal living. What that means is that how you can use frugal living or cutting costs. So yeah, so we've been together for quite a while now, and then we've been married for a few years at this point, and I think over the past couple of years, we have embraced this idea of frugal living to achieve financial independence as soon as we can. And I just brought her on today because I feel like she's like the queen of frugal living, because she's been living frugally even before she met me or we met, and yeah, so I just wanted to show that side of her to you guys. So I guess, Wish, do you mind giving our viewers a quick introduction about who you are?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. So, this is Vish, and like he was saying, I am the certified queen of frugality.
You said certified, huh?
I did.
That sounds super official. I've never heard somebody being called a certified frugal human being before. That's interesting. So do you have like a certificate for that calls that hey, you this person is frugal?
I do. Do you want to see?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely at some point I do want to see that certificate.
Yeah. So, I learned being frugal from my mom. It's not something that I had to embrace that in my lifestyle. It's just that that's how I have been brought up. My mom used to be really frugal, and every money coming in, she would budget that money and make sure that money is not going to waste. So that's how I learned that.
Wow, so you learned from watching your mom and seeing what she was doing to be frugal. So
Yeah.
what exactly was your mom doing that made her that way? Like why was she, or what was she doing that made her frugal, really?
Yeah, so she would save as much money coming in. And then back in the days, we didn't have, technology that much. So she wasn't constantly bombarded with ads
Oh, I
like
see.
we get ads this day.
Yeah.
Like you speak about it or you talk about it and you
Yeah.
start seeing stuff
That's true.
on the internet. If you remember, we were talking about something few days ago, and
Yeah.
we started seeing ads on
Yeah.
Hulu.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't a thing back in days. Another thing was credit card wasn't a thing back then. So uh, basically, whatever money was earned, that is all the money we had, and that is all the money we had to spend. So if, for example, if we wanted to buy a television,
Hmm.
which was $1,000, it probably came out of months worth of savings, or probably like you had to save that for a few months to
Right.
have that thing. So it wasn't easy, and I'm not saying that we were poor, but we weren't the richest people in the neighborhood. So we had to budget everything and make sure the money coming in doesn't get wasted.
That's true. Yeah, so I think you said a couple important points there, right? The first one being, technology not being that advanced back in the days of our parents. I think you were right that they weren't constantly bombarded with ads showing you the next greatest, latest and greatest thing available on the market that you could just go out and buy right now, right? So I know these days the ads are basically, you pretty much every few minutes, even on YouTube, every few minutes you are kind of showed an ad, and you
Yeah.
pretty much have to watch it without a choice.
Yeah.
And that ad kind of shows a product in a way that it will sort of like make your life better than what it is right now, and it will improve your happiness in life. And that's why a lot of people tend to be like, oh, I want that thing,
Yeah.
and I want that thing right now.
Yeah.
And speaking of wanting that thing right now, the thing you said about credit cards, right? Just because I think credit cards came into existence a lot later than when our mom and dad were our age.
Right.
So they didn't necessarily have access to money right away all the time. So they basically had to work their butts off to be able to afford something that they really wanted.
Yeah.
And I think just because of that, also the certain things that they were able to buy eventually really meant a lot
Right.
in their life.
Yeah.
Versus now when we buy something and then 3 days down the line it's like, okay, well, that
Yeah. It's just a thing.
yeah, it's just a thing, right? I mean, I just spend money on it and it's not bringing me happiness anymore.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so you were right about that.
So internet just screws up your, I mean, I'm not saying internet, but like marketing, it just screws up how you feel about things or how you see things, and it just makes you feel that you really need that thing and that will improve your lifestyle, or
Yeah.
you know, you will be the coolest person in the world, or how friends will start seeing you, but no one cares really.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. No, I think just because of how advanced everything is now, money is so easily accessible that you can basically just even now we can if we see an ad pop up on TV or something, if we want that thing we can just basically get up and go out and swipe our credit card and buy that thing, right?
We don't even need to get up. We
Yeah,
can just
yeah, that's true.
right away, like
That's
within a
true.
minute, we can just order
Yeah,
on
we can just
Amazon.
take our phone
or-
and yeah, exactly, and we will show up on your doorstep tomorrow morning or
Yeah.
Monday morning. But it's so accessible now that
Right.
you can easily go out and spend money, or things are set up that way that they want to take the money away from you constantly.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point. So about your frugality then. So have you always been a frugal person, like ever since you were a kid? Have you always been frugal, or was there something that happened in your life and you just turned towards frugality in the because of that?
No, so yeah, I've always been that way. Like I was saying, my mom has been frugal, so that's how I have been brought up. So if we are wasting money, I'm like, oh my God, what, why, So that's how I've been brought up, and things like I was talking about television or something. If we really don't need it, I'm like, okay, why, why do we need to buy that? So things like that. Eating at home or saving money
Yeah.
is something what I've been taught ever since I was a kid. So
Yeah.
that's how, like, I didn't have to do anything for that. It's just how I've been brought up.
I see. That's interesting because for me, it wasn't that way. I think for the most of my life, I think money was easily available, and then when I got my first job, I think there was like a massive amount of money coming in that I wasn't really used to or didn't really know what to do with. So even after like 4 or 5 years of working that good job, like a decent paying job, and um, making decent amount of money, I still didn't have any sort of savings, any sort of money saved up for or invested for retirement, or I hadn't really bought a house or real estate for myself or to invest into. And that is when I really realized that, hey, this is not the right way of doing things, and just my spending habits were, I wanted, like we were talking about, credit card is, right there, and you want the next best thing always. That's basically what I was doing pretty
Right.
much every single month. So after paying my living expenses, whatever money I had left over, I used to think that since I have this money, I'm able to afford that certain thing that I want.
Yeah.
And I just basically used to go out and buy that certain thing. But I think it was after I met you, and a little bit of time after I met you, and just watching you save money and watching you be frugal, I realized the importance of frugality, and just to get out of that situation, and just to improve my finances. It was like an eye opener for me to just hey, I have to do something with my life right now, otherwise it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
And then there's no looking back, or there's no way to improve anything. So
Yeah.
I just had to get started with improving my finances back then. So that's what happened. But yeah, so
For a lot of people, that's what happens, and the money isn't really discussed in families or in schools.
Yeah.
So they are not really taught how to maintain or how to save money, and how to deal with finances. So they don't really know, and as like people have that mindset that as long as money is being saved in 401k,
Mm-hmm.
they are all set for life, and they can spend the rest of their money,
Yeah.
and they're doing it right. But I'm not saying it's wrong, but they can really save more, and
More, yeah.
yeah, and then be financially independent, and enjoy life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's for a lot of people that they are not aware of these things,
Mhm.
and they don't really go and search, like since it's never taught in school or anything like that. They never go and search, or they never really think about, am I doing this right or not? And so they end up paycheck to paycheck, and at the end they realize, oh my god, what did I do?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think just the topic of finances, right, it's such a taboo topic that people don't talk about finances with their family members, or between friends, or even with their coworkers. Like, you're not supposed to discuss salaries, or you're not supposed to discuss what sort of bonus you got, or
Yeah.
you're not really supposed to talk about money ever, and that's just how everybody's brought up. And that kind of just doesn't that kind of just doesn't help you learn about how to manage money, and how to just let money or make money work for you, instead
Yeah.
of you working your entire life to make that money.
Right.
So, and that's where I think financial independence, and talking about financial independence, it's so important, because everybody should achieve financial independence, no matter how much money you make in life.
Right.
Everybody at some point should be able to say that, okay, I have enough money invested in the market where I can just live off of the income or capital gains from that invested money.
Yeah.
And I don't need to work anymore.
Yeah.
And I can just enjoy the finer things in life.
Yeah.
But most people are unfortunately unable to achieve that, just because of not knowing what to do, or not knowing how to go about it, or not knowing even that thing exists,
Right, exactly.
in the first place.
So it's not that people don't want to do it, it's mostly that people don't know about it,
Yeah.
and they don't know where to start. So yeah, like you were saying, it's mostly like people not aware of it.
That's true. That's true. So for your frugality though, so how do you approach it? Like, what do you do differently that makes you frugal? Is there any particular thing that you like just don't spend money on, or something like that?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's a rocket science. Anyone can do it. So it's mostly like, watching your expenses, whatever's coming in, you really think about it. Like when you are spending money, you think about it. Like, you really need to spend money on saving most of it. I used to buy clothes a lot before, but I've stopped doing that now, realizing it's not really needed. And now being working from home, it's mostly like I'm mostly in my pajamas and t-shirts, free t-shirts, I would say.
Yeah, you do wear my t-shirts, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Why not? It's free, right?
It's free for somebody, right? Not for both of us.
I don't have to buy them, so
Yeah.
it doesn't come under my expenses.
That's true.
Expenses.
That's true.
So yeah. And then mostly cooking at home, eating at home. Not going out a lot, or not spending a lot of money on drinks and food.
Yeah.
That sort of things. So like I was saying, it's not rocket science. It's mostly like watching your expenses and all that.
Yeah. I guess the basic formula is pretty simple, right? It's basically just living below your means.
Exactly.
And your means meaning what you are able to bring in every single month in terms of income, but live well below what your income is. So spend much less than what you make.
Right.
So that way you have money left over to save and invest, and money left over to be able to grow and make you financially independent, right? But yeah, I think you were talking about clothes a few seconds ago, right? So I think in terms of clothes, I think I was pretty much I don't want to say the same way, but I used to spend a lot of money on clothes as well. Every couple of months, I would need a brand new outfit and brand new shoes and just like a makeover sort of, so I can present myself in a different way. And I would go out and spend good amounts of money on clothing, right?
Yeah.
But I've since stopped doing that. Just because when I have enough clothes racked up into, I don't feel the need to impress anybody anymore. It's more like
You have a wife now.
yeah, no, yeah, that's true. Plus, I'm getting old, so uh, you know.
But yeah, like you can still buy clothes and buy a $5 t-shirt and
Yeah.
be happy
Yeah,
with it, right?
yeah.
Like
And
you
that's
don't
that-
have to spend like $30-$40 for a
Yeah,
t-shirt,
yeah,
right?
and that's exactly what I do. I typically buy clothes from Target, and I'll do it a couple of times a year. And it's like, the t-shirts I buy, they cost like $6
Yeah.
a t-shirt. So I buy a couple of them a year, and I think that's good enough for me to. They last forever, so they're
Exactly.
good pieces of clothing. And I guess the other way, I guess a lot of people don't know about buying new clothes. That's right. I mean, most of like out of fashion, off-brand clothing, you can buy from discount stores like Marshalls or TJ Maxx, and I think
yeah.
we have done that quite a
Right.
bit in the
Yeah.
past couple of years
Yeah.
too, right? I mean, especially since we live in Michigan, for like winter clothing, for example, for like jackets, um, you know, some of the brand name jackets, or if you buy them from Macy's, they usually end up costing a couple $100.
Yeah.
But you can buy similar stuff in Marshalls for like under $100.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah, so there's ways you can definitely save money. You don't have to always go overboard and buy the next best thing always. And that's basically the fundamental formula of just achieving financial independence, right?
Yeah. Speaking of best things, I remember you used to, buy new phones or, switch cars every couple of years.
Yeah. No, that's true. I did that. Yes, that's how I lived, and that's how I'm now just like a extreme opposite of what I used to be, because I've had fancy things with a lot of stress, and now I don't have any fancy things, but I have no stress whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I
Do I
think
know this person anymore?
so. The way I'm living right now is way better than what I used to be. So yeah, no, I think I like being this way.
Yeah.
I like being frugal and being just more conscious about where money is going, and not having to think about where my mortgage payment is going to come from next month,
Yeah.
and not having to think about if I'm going to be able to put food on the table next month. So
Right.
it's just a good place to be.
I agree. Yeah.
So
How long has it been that you haven't changed your phone?
that's a good question. So at this point, there was a time between probably I want to say 2013 when I first got my first job, and 2017 that I had 6 phones.
Whoa,
That's
what are you
within like
talking about?
yeah, that's within 4 years that I changed my phone like 6 times. And 2017 is when I got my Samsung phone, and that's pretty much right around the time when I had this realization about money and finances, right? And I haven't bought a new phone since then, so I'm still using my Samsung phone that I got in 2017. So it's been
Wow, that's a
little more
long
than
time.
4 years at this point. And it still works fine. I mean, part of this video is being recorded on this phone on that phone, so it's a good indicator that the phone works fine. And I think this goes back to technology, right? I mean, we were talking about ads before, and just how technology is playing into us spending more money, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, technology is to the point where it's so advanced that you can only perfect a phone, so much.
Right.
So over the past few years, phones have gotten so good that you don't really need to buy a new phone every single year, because it's pretty much the same thing, slightly better.
Yeah.
Is that slightly better needed in your life? Probably not. You could pretty much live with the phone for like 5 years,
Right.
or until it gives up on you. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to do. Until this phone gives up on me, I'm not gonna get a new phone. But yeah, so just electronics in general. I mean, I think I tend not to spend money on electronics anymore. My computer works fine, it gets the job done, and my phone works fine, it gets the job done. And until the thing gives up on me at some point, I typically make sure that I'm backing up data from each of those things so that I don't lose any of that.
Yeah.
But until that certain thing gives up on me to the point where I absolutely have to buy a new thing, I'll just make it work.
Yeah.
I don't work on fancy rocket launch formulas that I need extreme computing power. So it's like for what I do, I think a 5-year, 7-year-old computer, 5-year-old phone works just fine.
Yeah.
So
Our laptop is like 8-9 years old.
that's a great question. Our laptop is from 2011, so
Wow.
10 years at this point,
Wow.
more than 10 years. So yeah, it still works and
Does the job.
does the job. Yeah, gets things done. So
Yeah. Since we were talking about phones, we'll probably start seeing ads.
that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, next thing you know, the iPhone 13 ad pops up on our
Yeah.
TV screen.
They'll
And
start manipulating your
yeah,
mind.
yeah. It's almost like somebody's watching you always, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Insane. So yeah, so since we have talked about financial independence and how it's actually pretty easy to achieve financial independence, just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about FIRE. I don't know if you have ever heard of the term FIRE.
I have, yes.
Okay, what
So-
what do you think that stands for, or what do you think that means?
So it's basically retiring from your stressful job and, being financially independent. So you don't have to worry about, money coming in. You basically take out the money from your investments. So that's how I understand. And then there are different categories of FIRE. I believe there is lean FIRE, fat FIRE, and barista FIRE. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. So I think just going back, for our viewers there, FIRE basically stands for financial independence and retiring early, meaning people that are trying to achieve FIRE, they work their butts off in the early years of their life and try to make and invest and grow as much money as possible so that they can retire as early as possible, because like the typical retirement in the age in the US is like 60-65 years. And that's
No.
when, no, you don't think so?
I mean, I'm not working till 65.
Yeah, no, I know. It's too much.
Yeah.
But that's basically when Social Security kicks in for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they can let go a part of their income, right? But typically, also when you have an inflated lifestyle, that's when you have to work until 60-65, right? I mean, because you have a house to pay for, you have a boat to pay for, you have a huge Chevy Tahoe to to pay for, right?
Yeah.
So how do you pay for all those things? You basically have to work your butts off until pretty much you die, right?
Yeah.
But the people that are trying to achieve FIRE, they don't like the idea of having fancy things, but they prefer having a peaceful and stress-free life instead. So that's what they aim for. So a lot of these people will probably retire by the age of like 40.
Right.
Some people also retire by 30, which is we are way past that point at the at this point. But but yeah, so
It's never too late.
it's never too late. That's true. Let's just keep working hard towards it and try to inspire our viewers in doing the same. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, the people that try to achieve FIRE, right? They, like I was saying, they save as much money as possible. So they basically follow the same principles that you live on, right? Which is just not extreme frugality, but like just being frugal wherever possible, and then not unnecessarily spending money on things, right? I mean, there's only so much you need to sustain your lifestyle and so much you need to live a healthy life. So that's the kind of things that tend to spend money on.
Right.
And at the same time, they also try to bring in more money every single month rather than just being satisfied with their 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah. Side
So
hustles.
yeah, exactly. So there's people that are doing side hustles actively. There's people that are making YouTube videos actively and try to make money off of that.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's definitely not that difficult to achieve financial independence.
And especially like side hustles being easily available these days,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like Shipped or DoorDash or food delivery services or
Right.
flipping stuff on the internet.
Right.
It's easily that you can do apart from your 9-to-5 jobs.
That's
like
true.
you don't really have to be stuck to your 9 to 5 jobs. You
Yeah.
can do this in the evening, over the weekend,
Yeah.
and bring that extra buck, whatever it is. Like, that extra bucks will be a lot in the next 30 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's also where the idea of barista fire comes into play. So earlier you were talking about the different ways that fire can be categorized into. So there's basically barista fire, there's lean fire, and there's fat fire, right? So barista fire is where you have achieved enough, you have achieved enough wealth where it's paying for a part of your living expenses every month.
Right.
But then the other part, you work a part-time job or a gig job like a DoorDash delivery driver or
Yeah.
shipped a professional shopper or something like that, and you make enough money to sustain the remainder of the expenses of your lifestyle every single
Pay
month.
off your mortgage
Yeah.
with that money. And
That's true. Yeah, you could do that. So barista, a lot of people I've seen do that these days, where they achieve fire, barista fire per se, and then they work a part-time job where there will be a greeter at Target, and they just say hello to you when you walk in the door, or do food delivery, for example. So
yeah. You were talking about Target, like they also get insurance, so they don't have to
Yeah.
pay for insurance.
That's true.
Insurance is
that's true.
one big amount or one big chunk going out of your paycheck.
That's exactly true. Yeah. So when you talk about like the other category, which is lean fire, right? Lean fire is basically enough money invested where you're able to sustain only your living expenses every month. So you basically don't have money for anything else. So that puts a lot of pressure on you when there's unaccounted for expenses, right?
Right.
Like if your health insurance comes out to be slightly higher than what you budgeted for, and I think in situations like that, barista fire really plays an important role to help you manage that and achieve that target, right?
Yeah.
So that's I think also with barista fire, so let's just talk about fat fire real quick, and then I'll come back to why barista fire is so impactful, right?
Okay.
So basically, what fat fire is a much heavier version of lean fire.
Okay.
No pun intended there. But fat fire basically is you have way more saved up or invested than you have in lean fire, and with fat fire you're able to borrow about 120 grand from your investments every single year.
Okay.
Maybe more or less likely, but roughly that amount. And as long as you're living in a moderate to low cost of living area, that $120,000 goes a long way every
Right.
single year.
Yeah.
So you're able to afford a fancier lifestyle. So the goal of fat fire is to retire with a certain net worth where you're able to borrow more money every single year, and then that way you can pay for a fancy car, or have a fancier house, or you can travel business class to Australia. So things of that nature.
And that's the thing, right? Like you really don't have to be in this frugal mindset for the rest of your life. Just do this for a few years, like 5 years, 10 years, or whatever your expenses are, and then you can live a nice life or
That's
your
true.
dream life.
That's
So
true.
you don't really have to be frugal the rest of your life and punish yourself being frugal. So
No, I think there's a a lot of people say, when you talk to people about saving for the future, right? A lot of people say, hey, what if I die by the point I retire, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they don't save. But my argument to that is, what if you don't, right?
Right.
What if you don't die and your body is almost giving up, but you still need money for living every single month? It's much better to work hard in your early years because your body also cooperates at the same time, than working equally hard when you're 60,
Right.
and still trying to maintain the same lifestyle you're living right now. But sorry, you were saying something?
Yeah, so to that point, the end goal really matters. So I think you had a video on that what would be your perfect life be like. So the end goal really matters. So if you are working towards your end goal, for us it's like retiring and then traveling the world and not worrying about spending money and all that kind of things. Similarly, that would be similarly people would have similar dreams or goals. If that's your end goal, and if you're working towards that, you won't really feel like you are working towards it.
Right.
You won't really feel like you are being frugal because you're it really motivates you, and it's inspiring, and you are really working towards it, and you are thinking about it, so you won't think that you are not spending money today
Right.
on things that you want. You
Yeah.
are just working on things you want in the future.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, having a goal is important for sure. Knowing just what kind of money you will be needing once you retire, right? Just to sustain your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And working backwards from that number.
Right.
And I think we'll talk about that more in a future video. But just to give you guys an idea, I mean, whatever your living expenses are right now, multiply that by 25 or 30. That's the amount of money you need to retire with. And then once you have that number, use the 4% rule, where you multiply that with 4%, and that's the amount of money you can borrow every single year to sustain your lifestyle. That's basically the target mathematics of achieving FIRE. But we'll definitely discuss that more in detail in a future video here.
Yeah.
So going back to, we were talking about barista FIRE versus fat FIRE, right? So you can, so here's how you achieve FIRE, right? So you need a certain amount of money for barista FIRE. You need slightly more money for lean FIRE, because with barista FIRE, you are still working part-time. With lean FIRE, you're not working at all. And then
But
you
are
need,
sacrificing your
you're
lifestyle.
sacrificing your lifestyle. But
Okay.
then you're working even longer and accumulating more wealth to achieve fat FIRE. So fat FIRE, you need even more money than barista or lean FIRE, right? But the good thing about, the way you can have barista FIRE and fat FIRE work for yourself is you don't achieve fat FIRE, you achieve barista FIRE. And whatever your dreams are, right? All of those dreams, you work a part-time job to pay for. So that's like a combination of barista FIRE and lean FIRE to live a fat FIRE lifestyle, where say your investments are providing for a couple grand a month, but your vacation dream needs another couple grand a month. So you work a part-time job and then bring in that couple grand, and then without shame, just spend that couple grand on that vacation you wanted to take.
Yeah.
And then if there is 6 months where you don't want to take a vacation, you basically just don't work, right? So that's a combination of barista FIRE and lean FIRE, where you can make those two work together to sort of achieve fat FIRE.
Right.
So that's there's ways you can do it. You can manipulate it for your own lifestyle and how you
Yeah.
want to live.
Yeah.
Cool. So all right. So on that note, I guess we will wrap up this video here then.
Yeah.
And I think in future videos, hopefully we will still have you on videos, because I think it's great to just have a conversation about financial independence and
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It was fun.
yeah. No, I'm sure. Yeah. No, it was fun for me as well. So thanks for joining.
Thank you.
So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Definitely like this video below, hit the subscribe button. Check out our other videos, and if you like having Wish on the video and like her frugal approach to our finances, definitely comment down below so that we know that or I know that I should be bringing her on the videos. And if you don't comment, I definitely won't have her on the video next time.
No.
So we'll use that as a metric if you did well or not. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Once again, like this video, subscribe, and see you again next time. All right. Thanks so much. See ya. Bye.
Bye now.